And here, guys, we're live now. Welcome to another Wednesday of the Good Life. Yeah, that's
another good episode.
Another good episode, guys. It's episode 20. Woo! We need some what is the thing? Sound effects or something. There we go. That's what we need. Hey guys, welcome again for everybody that's joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. What's going on? Welcome to another Wednesday night of the Good Life. Man, the fellas, we're here. We just had a nice pre-game session over on Instagram. So thanks for everyone that's been joining us on Instagram to kind of get things moving for the night. But now we're here and we're jumping into the topic for this evening on the Good Life. Because again, we are cool. We are Stu. Still a little echo. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody's.
That's okay. I'll cut it off in a little bit. We'll find out. But I want to intro kind of what we're going to talk about tonight because I think it's important. As we were pre-gaming and having the conversation about what we should talk about, we're thinking this topic of fun, right? A lot of times people want to have fun or integrate fun into their life, but the question is, where does fun fit in the good life, right? Like, where does fun fit in? We talk health, wealth, love, and happiness. We see could be dancing because dancing is fun. But in general, where does fun really fit in the good life? Are you having too much of it? Some people say you shouldn't have to have, or you don't need to have a lot of fun to get to your goals and dreams and those things. But that's the topic, right? We're going to kind of start there, and you guys know how we operate. We'll bounce around, but gentlemen, tell me kind of your intro thoughts when it comes to where does fun fit in for the good life? Should people be having a lot of it? Should people not be having a lot of it? Talk to me. What are your thoughts?
People should be having beaucoup de fun. And I say that in all seriousness. Yeah. The first thing, when you say where does it fit in, all I can think about is where it can, just everywhere. And then I keep coming back to this image of, you have your bricks in your life, right? The things that can't move, the things that you have to take care of, family, all that stuff. But then the thing that actually holds all those things together so that you don't go crazy and crumbling down and descending into despair and is making it fun. The fun being the mortar, right? That actually holds everything together. So fitting it in where you can, like getting things, when things get real serious, change the tune, change something a little bit. So yeah, for me, that's the first thought that comes to mind.
I like that. The mortar between the bricks to hold it all together. I think that's so true. And it ties into, like, to me, I think there's two ways to have fun as an entrepreneur. It's in your business, and then when you're outside of your business. And that goes for employees too. They just perhaps have less control. So I think something that could be touched on earlier in the pregame was how make whatever it is that you are trying to make a business out of, or freelance, whatever, make that fun. Like, if it's not fun, why are you doing it? Like, unless it's going to be passive income to where you can walk away and you're just putting your nose down for a while, that I could get behind. But if you're trying to build this entire career and offer a certain service or a certain product, but you don't enjoy it, that's going to show. Like that. I think your customers will pick up on that. It might wear you down, and you might not necessarily have the ability to have fun in the act of entrepreneurship. And then for me, I also think it's important to have fun completely unrelated to it. Although what seems to be happening is everybody I'm networking with, either in a personal or professional setting, I'm talking about coaching, even in personal stuff now. Just how it comes up. It's interesting. Like, you guys know how it is when you state that you own your own business and you report to yourself. People are like, wait, what? What is that like? They want to know. And then they're like, but you're out here having a great time. I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to be Gary Vee in some ways maybe, but I don't need to be working 20 hours a day. Like, I want to make the most of it. That's the whole reason why I made this shift. So to me, I think there's two types: fun in the business, fun outside the business, and I think they're both critical to longevity.
I would agree and disagree with that, though, honestly, Stu, right? Like, I definitely think fun is critical, but the outside of the business, I don't think is as critical as the inside. If you can find your fun in what you do, I don't think you need it outside at all. And that's kind of the way I operate in general myself, right? Like, and I gave this a little bit in the pregame of like, think of the athletes or the people that we know that have won at the highest levels, right? Again, a lot of times being in this entrepreneur space, there is a level of, I want to be great. Like, I want my business to be great, right? Like, could be, we've had this conversation offline. When I asked him, like, hey, what's the goal? I remember he was like, man, I'm trying to be great. I'm trying to be the Dr. Sebi of this thing out here. I'm trying to be big. So when you have those aspirations in your life, that is where you get pleasure. Kind of like when I think of like a Kobe Bryant or somebody, right? How much fun was he having outside of playing basketball? Like, winning was fun. Like, that was fun. Being on the court for him, I'm sure, was a blast. Busting people's ass on the court, I'm sure, was a blast. Right? Like, I'm sure that's what, like, that was fun when he could, right? When he could talk crap to Spike Lee and all these people because he's winning. It's a high likelihood that he didn't need anything else. He didn't need partying. He didn't need the external because he found it in what he did. And I really think that is kind of like one of those fine lines where it's like, man, do you want to be great at what you do if you're an entrepreneur? Are you trying to be the best? Right? I'm thinking of a book that I read, From Good to Great, Jim Collins. And in that book, he talks about, right, what takes a person from, right, being good to great. One of the things is, you know that you can be the best in this industry, in this field. Like, can you be the best? That's how you get to great. If you already are starting off in an industry where you're like, I'm not going to be the best. Like, I'm not going to be that guy, but I can do something. Like, well, you kind of already limited yourself from greatness. So then other things might come into play. But if you're like, man, I can be great at this. I can do this forever. I can be great. Then that's where your fun comes, right? That's where my fun comes. I enjoy the game, right? Mm-hmm. Talk about Gary Vee. Like, that's actually his essence. Is he's like, I actually love business. This is actually what I love. I get to do what I want to do, what I love to do for 20 hours a day. People are like, oh, you're going to burn out. Like, no. Like, I love this. Like, this is what I love. So I'm not burning out. I would do this all the time, even if it didn't bring in money. So I really think it's more important to really dive into where you are getting your fun. And I think as an entrepreneur specifically, that you should, a lot of that fun should come in what you actually do, Shout out to Sonia on our Instagram. That is a great book. And yes, I know her and her husband are champions. They're winners. That's why she vibes with that, right? They're winning. So it's my 2 cents.
Chris, I think that's a really good point. And I tend to agree with a little bit of room. You know, you got to give it a little bit of room. Come on, man.
I'll give you some room, man. I'll give you room.
But I think, you know, you hit 80% of it, which is that you got to enjoy what you do or what you're doing or what you're working or the journey of which you're on. Because I think on some level, Kobe, Michael, as much as those hard practices were tough and sacrifice, I think they enjoy the sacrifice. I think they miss the sacrifice. I think you get to, like, you know, the process of work hard, big stage, perform, right? Not, you know, and that's what winning it encapsulates, right? Winning is like maybe the peak of that, but that entire process right there is fun for them, in my opinion. You know, even getting a little, you know, another example, CrossFit athletes, right? You look at what they do, you're like, the competition, I don't know. It just looks like another workout. right? The competition just looks like another workout. But the process of beating the body up and recovering and getting better and breathing hard and doing all that stuff in and of itself is enjoyable. So I think you hit a good point there, and I definitely agree. The little bit of room, I say, is you got to look at what stage you are, I believe, in the game versus how much of that ratio that Stu was talking about can you afford, is necessary, right? And I think you got to also factor in location and where you're coming from, all that stuff. What I mean by that, you as an individual, who are you? Like going inside out, figuring out, am I doing this because it's fun, or am I trying to just like fill some other spaces in my life? So looking at that piece of it, right? And when you start to put all those together and you say, hey, you know what? For me, golfing is fun. Like, then find a way to make it fit, or find a way to align, I would say, with all the other pieces, right? That put it together. And if it doesn't align, maybe you got to find something else. Like, there's a lot of things in this world. Like, it's not one and done. You know, it's not like I just can't let go. I think people are kind of silly when we do that.
Understood. Got this quote here, or Gregory just mentioned, said, hey, you need to have purpose that drives you to do the hard work necessary for success and peace of mind. So he's bringing it back to purpose, right? And I think could be that's what you're talking about, like knowing what stage you're in, right? Understanding kind of where you're at with it. So thank you for that, Greg. We appreciate it.
Yeah, because I'll say this: I think we can get to a point where there is unnecessary sacrifice. I do feel like there is a good amount of that, and I probably come more from that school, so I can speak to it more than most. But there is some things that are just like, you know, this isn't a try hard situation. This is actually relaxed through the finish line situation. You know,
I love that, because to me, like finding the right balance for me of like fun inside my business. I mean, I enjoy every single coaching session. I mean, there's definitely been some that, I think we've all had this. There's definitely been some that weren't as impactful as we would have liked them to be. But every single one in and of itself is a new challenge. It's a new person. It's a new spot in their journey. They want different things. Like, to me, absolutely, it's fun. And outside of work, I take if I hear about, I had a great client victory last week. I shared it. I don't know if you guys saw it, but this woman kicked ass after we had a great conversation. And she was able to like make this contract deal that was bigger than anything she'd done before. And that happened Friday from 10:30 to 12. And I immediately took all of that hype and went to the Dare outdoor pool, like club basically at the Hard Rock. Never done it before. I was so hyped. I had a buddy in town. He was actually one of my practice clients when I got started. So a lot of things came together. And I took all that energy and I went out and I had the best time. I got to meet all these people I never met before. I was talking about my business. I was talking about my Instagram. I was giving that out. So to me, like, a lot of that is so, like, they play off each other. Like, because the whole reason I got into this is because I felt like I was not making the impact I wanted to make. I wanted to make an impact in people's lives, and I wanted to actually have control over my time. I did not want to spend 10 to 12 hours a day in construction, and sometimes Saturdays. And the last company I was with was actually the best hybrid of like, you know, fun and hours. So, but before that, I had spent my entire life sacrificing too much. You put that well, Kobi. Sacrificing too much, doing what other people expected me to do. So really now, like, I am out here just trying to set an example that like everybody can go out there and get it. Play the long game. Watch your business like slowly ramp up and then exponentially go up. And at whole time, enjoy the process. If you're in a situation where you don't necessarily have the finances to just enjoy a slow growth, buckle down and get to where you got to get to until you can really, really loosen up. Because if you try and force this stuff, you become like a needy coach who's really needs clients, or you're trying to force things. And, you know, the whole flow state going from fun in my career and fun in my personal life, having those mirror back and forth, it allows me to keep my energy up. Now, I'm like a ridiculously extroverted person. So to me, that's probably why this is so important. But you guys made great points about needing it. It's not about needing it. It's about choosing it. If you are choosing to have the fun and you can still responsibly do what you have to do to take care of your customers, to grow your business, why not?
Good.
Yeah, I like what I think Sonia put in the chat here. We don't sacrifice, we invest. Right. And I think there's a fine line. There's a fine line right there between you at a point, the goose, right, versus the golden egg. Are you at the point where one of them is at risk of dying off? I don't know if that makes sense for you guys, but I was going to come back to that. You know, you got to.
It goes back, and I think we just saw with Gregory's comment about purpose, right? I really think like that fine line between are you sacrificing or are you investing, you know, is a matter of, well, what's the outcome here? What's the purpose? Like, what are you doing this for, right? Again, Stu, if your purpose is to kind of be the example and show that you can have it all, and you can have a great business life and a, you know, family life, or, you know, outside party life, or whatever it is, you can have it all and still be okay, then that becomes your purpose. If my purpose is to be at the best as a financial coach, financial plan, right? That is the thing that if I'm trying to impact the most people and that becomes my purpose, then I look at things like an investment. I look at my 12-hour days, 15-hour days, 17-hour days as investments, because I get to do what my purpose is. I get to do the thing I'm saying I want to do, right? And so that really is what kind of boils it down. And right to kind of how we started this about, you know, is fun, where does fun fit in, and where is it necessary? Is it a need, right? It really goes back to purpose. Well, what are you doing? What's the purpose of why you're doing what you do, right? The place. No, go.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask, like, does everything have to have a purpose outside of your career?
Ooh.
Good question. My initial reaction is yes. My initial reaction, without thinking, when you just say that and throw that out there, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And where my thought goes is, what's the other side of it? Are you just doing things that have no purpose? Like, is that a place? Like,
is that even possible?
It has to fill something, right? Like,
there has to be some payoff.
Yeah, it has to fill everything that you do has to fill something. So, like, does everything have a purpose or need a purpose?
So I think one of the things I really like about this particular conversation is when we're talking about purpose, getting clear on like our definitions of purpose. Like when you are an entrepreneur and you have a mission statement, that is your purpose that you proclaim, and this is the impact you're trying to make. If that is your purpose in life, are the things that you do outside of your business that are not necessarily related to bettering yourself or whatever. I guess what I'm getting at here is it okay to have some type of fun that isn't related to your purpose? In my opinion, yes, but everybody's got a different perspective on this. So, you know, for me and the clients that I try and work with, I want them to understand the balance that they need between fun at work versus fun while in play, I suppose. But to me, you know, we all think of our work as our play as well. So I guess there are definitely times I'm having fun and there isn't necessarily a purpose behind it. But I would say most of the time I'm having fun, it is a purpose. It's how I recharge. It's how I network. It's how I get my name out there as an owner. Curious what you guys have to say about that.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So what is, you know, how you define those key terms, right? And also, you know, I think they're both kind of really hitting on things that are simultaneously true. Because ultimately, if it is serving a purpose, right, whether it's to recharge or to do something like, then yeah, everything does have to have a purpose, so it's kind of like already there. But if it's not, I'll be curious to hear an example of something that is like totally just not serving anything whatsoever.
Yeah, it's actually it's really tough for me to actually come up with that right now. I guess the first thing that comes to mind is video games, but to me, I like a healthy competition, and I stay connected with some of my friends that are not in the same town as me through that. What else?
Is that what most people do though? Like, let's stay on the topic of video games because
come on, Chris.
I stopped playing video games a long time ago, and then it seemed like more adults picked it up. Like, I don't know what happened. But what purpose, like, for people that just play 2K, they just play Madden, and is it about competition for most people, do you think? Is it mindless, this is how I pass my time? Because
that's the one that worries me.
It's entertaining to me, and we can go down the whole entertainment escapism path. But I really feel like that's what it is for a video game and gamers in general. But I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, right? But
am I the resident video game expert at this point?
Yeah. I gave up my system a few years ago.
I should put that title in my little
totally
coaching right there. Yeah. It's funny because I've actually had people ask me to like potentially consider coaching them around video games. And for me, what I find very interesting about that is, let's take first-person shooters, for example. There is so much imagination that has to happen if you want to be really, really good in a first-person shooter type situation. Because it's not just about, it's very important, who lands the most.
What is that, by the way? Can you just break that down?
A first-person shooter? Like if all I see on the screen is like what my point of view would be. You got the gun. Yeah, excellent.
You see the gun in front of you, like this.
It's down by your side. It's up there. You're zooming in, like you're chucking a grenade, but all you can see is the hand. Like that's the first person thing. In order for you to be really, really talented at that, it's not just about landing the shots first and all that. That is a huge, important part, without a doubt. But what's also important is being able to imagine all the sounds and the body language that you're seeing of what somebody else is doing to try and track where a team's going. What are they doing? Are they offensive? Are they defensive? Are these types of things necessary for me to know outside of video games? Probably not. I will say that we do train the military with that type of thinking, but I don't anticipate being in that situation. But to me, that's kind of cool. But really, it's the imagination piece. It's the guessing what somebody else is doing. It's a puzzle, and that can be applied in real life. So I love that piece because I'm literally having to just constantly imagine that I'm not just looking at a TV screen. I'm imagining that I'm in that reality. And one of the things that I really liked about video games growing up is I got to be a part of several different realities. And some of the really good games like Halo or sometimes Call of Duty, they like to test you. Like, is this an ethical situation? Is this moral? They get you thinking about different things. There's another one called Mass Effect. I could go on and on and on. We could actually do an entire episode about this. I could spend hours. But to me, there are benefits to that. But for me, I don't think most people go into it with that train of thought. I do think there is a lot of escapism. I do think that there can be a healthy amount of escapism in your life, but you have to be the judge of
that. Yeah. Just to that point, as you're talking, Stu, the thing that resonated with me was that same imagination of figuring out the pieces I love doing in real life. With business, with people. Like I actually that's the same exact thing. I like saying, ooh, look at this market. Ooh, right? Like Kwame Brown, we kind of touched on him. Like, ooh, how's he gaining attention? How'd he get to 340? How'd he get to 400,000 followers in a month? Huh. Okay. Business. Okay. Drama. Okay. Like I like looking at what's happening in the world for some form of business gain moving forward, for some form of how do I find the white space? That same thought process I don't use for escapism. I use to lock in. Like I use to like lock in to be like, this is, because once I figure it out, that might be the business idea, right? It only takes one business idea, guys, for us entrepreneurs listening, right? It only takes one.
It really does.
You might have thousands, but it only takes the one that hits in the right white space at the right time, that serves the right value, that changes your life. That's where I would use that same imagination and those same thoughts. And just always curious why people use it for escapism every time. And I'll let you jump in, Kobi, because I want to hear you on this. I saw this on TikTok just randomly, like this guy's playing his video games and the girl comes in and like it says it on the caption, like she just unplugs it, or like she like turned it off, and like he had like a fit, but not like angry, like really like he didn't go crazy.
Oh,
she
deleted a character. She deleted his character. Yeah.
Something like that. And he like just threw his hands up, like you could tell he was like devastated.
Yeah.
And she was like, this is all you do all day. And he said, this is all I have.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that really what we're at right now? Like we're a video game and your imagination of what you're doing, is that life? Is that all you have? Like it was a powerful thing. It was kind of funny for me to watch, but I like to lock in. I think that's really where it's at, but to each his own, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get the idea, of like applying the same like strategy, the same set of skills to a different situation. I was curious, Chris, how much video games did you play as a child? And like, I'm curious, you played a lot?
Wow. Like,
okay.
But I was always sports. It was more for competition, right? That's really what it was for. It was getting out my competitive juices. So I was the NBA or Madden, or like back in the day when I had, it was random. When I had Dreamcast, back in the day, I used to play Virtua Tennis. It was my favorite game of all time on Dreamcast, because I didn't really play tennis in real life. I loved to play that tennis game. I'd play FIFA. It was all sports for me. I never got into shooters, like, played Mortal Kombat and stuff as a kid, but like really as I started becoming a teenager, it was all sports, but it was 100% for the competition. That's why it was very easy for me to get rid of it when I could compete in a real life, right? Like I can compete, like, I joke with people, but it's true. Like your bank account, right, is the scoreboard of life, right? Like that's the scoreboard. So let's just play, right? And see who gets there. So I did used to play a bunch, but now I don't. So
yeah,
probably haven't played a video game in probably like 10 years, 35, 25, probably like 10 to, probably 10 years or so.
About an hour and a half for me. So I'd like, do you have anything before I jump in?
No, go ahead.
So I want to let's get specific. So when I was doing a job that I did not like, I chose video games to escape. And that's kind of what you saw with that other gentleman. I mean, I think he probably took it a lot more seriously than I did. That's one of the reasons why I don't even deal with creating characters and stuff. I want to be able to pick it up, put it down. Like, that's fine. I'll just hop on and hop right off.
Yeah.
But back before, it was for escapism. If I wasn't out socializing or playing some kind of sport or working out, like it was whatever there was to do. Like if I didn't feel like reading or whatever. Now, it's cool how I can like flow it into my lifestyle so much more. I don't play anywhere near as much as I used to. Actually, some of my buddies are kind of salty about that. But like now, it's a great way to connect with about 3 of my buds that are not really close to my geographical location. So we keep that connection. We also talk a little bit about business and stocks on there in between rounds and stuff. So it's a really, really nice just atmosphere. I love your point. I think both of you kind of like this. Like, what if we just play the game in real life? Isn't that more impactful? Couldn't I do more with that and grow faster as an entrepreneur? And the answer is absolutely. without a doubt. Now, I have like done some networking while I'm on here. I actually changed my gamer tag to Stu the Coach so people would ask me about it. And I've actually gotten some followers from that. It's not a lot, but to me, there was even a time where I was considering twitching. Like, I don't want to give this idea away.
Just give it. Ideas are gold.
So I am going to hire an IT guy to help me figure out how I'm going to play video games while streaming and while I'm answering generic coaching questions that I really, really enjoy. So if I have like a feed going up and I basically am just giving out value to individuals who I know used to be in that escapism role like I was. So if I can help give them some value that helps them shift their perspective and potentially get out of it, man, like I'm ready for that. Like to me, that would be a great niche. Like you're telling me you used to be a giant nerd too, like just like me. Like, bro, there's a whole nother way of living that you might enjoy so much more. So that to me is a nice little niche I could jump in.
And it's smart too, bro. Just so you know, it's very.
Thank you. I'm glad you made me say that out loud because now I'm going to be even more inclined to move forward with that because it is a niche. Like I don't think there are many coaches out there that come from the level of nerd that I come from. So I mean, we're all nerds in our own way, but as far as like the video games and shit, like that was me all the time growing up.
I get it.
So
no, by the way, it's a dope idea, man. For real. Like that's because you're meeting people where they are in your natural environment, in your natural habitat, right? And I think there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like because people still need coaching in any form. Like that's the hardest part. We've talked about this before. That's the hardest part of being a coach is because so many people need what you do that like you really have to niche down and be like, I want to help this group of people because I can resonate with them and it just makes sense, right? But like that's tough because it takes time. It takes months, if not years, to figure out who that niche is for you to really go impact the most. So the more you test things like, all right, well, let me jump on Twitch and let me see if I can get some conversation. I'm already there anyway, right? I'm already playing. I'm already in my element. There's probably some people in their element. Maybe we can have the conversation. And then you've built some rapport because they know you do what they do, right? At least as far as the video game stuff. They're more likely to open up to you, right? So, by the way, it's a great idea, man. I just want to affirm you on that. It's a great idea.
Thanks. I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
So when are you executing on that?
I've already started in some ways, but when am I going to make this a full thing? By the end of the third quarter, it's going to be a full thing. Writing that down.
What's that? October? Was that September? September?
I think that's October.
October?
Yeah, by the beginning of October.
End of October? All right.
Yeah.
You heard it here first on The Good Life, guys.
Yeah.
Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. You better hit them up. We're going to all check in on you still and be like, hey, September, what's going on? Are we there?
Yep.
Sharing your Twitch handle. Is it called a handle? Is it a Twitch handle?
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not that hip with all this stuff, but I'll get there. I think to kind of tie this back in, this is an example of me. For everyone listening, this is an example of me taking something that I enjoy and attempting to spread impact and maybe even monetize it. Thinking like that will set you free. I know Kobi's like that. I know Chris is an advocate for that. Find stuff you enjoy. That's how you tie the fun from what your career and mission is to the fun in your playtime. That's how they become one. And now all of a sudden you're always playing. It's great. Something else. When I first started, I think everybody has a different way that they want to start and ramp up. Some people really, really want to hit it hard. I originally did, but I realized I had so much unlearning and also learning and healing and taking care of my body and just like getting out of all these toxic cycles because I had spent the last 28 years of my life doing things that I didn't want to do. So I had to just break that. So for me, when I first started up, I obviously didn't have that many clients on my schedule. I didn't have things like this. I didn't have a lot of networking events. So whenever I didn't have something going on, I was like, okay, I can either, learn and better myself. I can heal, or I can play video games, or I can go outside. Like there's so many options. But the more busy I get, the less time I have for stuff like that is not pertaining to clients. So I think that's something for people to keep an eye on. Like, it's okay to, in my opinion, to start something, and as long as you've started it, like it gains momentum if you stick with it. And that's kind of where I'm at now. Like, now I have to make an active choice of whether or not I'm going to get any video game time in. And it's not even like an active thing I think about. It's just like, okay, I have a gap. It's not long enough for me to do something I'd really want to do. I could probably do some research here and there, and sometimes I do some back end stuff. But yeah, who's to say that, you have to do it a certain way? Like, if you want to take your time growing, cool. You want to get there really fast because you want to be the greatest in the world, that's cool too. I think all of us have different like strategies with that.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say, I agree, but go ahead, Kobi.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole idea of coming down to designing a lifestyle you don't need a break from, and I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what we're saying. Like, you gotta have something that the more it fits you and what you're willing to do for what you desire to create, that vision is attracting and pulling you towards that vision, or maybe some sort of something that's pushing you. The more those things are magnetized, the stronger those pulls are, the attraction is, the more you'll be able to do the things that you kind of want to do. And if that's not the case, you're gonna find a lot more time to slip in some first shooter.
First person shooter.
Oh, shoot. Listen.
FPS. There it is.
FPS. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love that saying, Kobi, right? Like, designing the life that you don't need a break from. That's in essence the good life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Designing the life you don't need a break from. You don't need to get away from this. This is it. This is life. Like, this is where you're at. This is what you love. This is what feeds you and provides for you and gives you happiness and all the things. When you get into that place where you've designed the life where you don't need the escapisms, you need breaks, we need rest and relaxation cycles. Those are important in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But
they're built in.
Built in, exactly. They're built in. You have that. You have that with your family. You have that on a Sunday, or you have that every 2 months where you go somewhere. Like, you have these things built into your life, so you don't need a break. You don't need to get away. You don't need to be like, I just need to play this video game, right? Or go to the fun side. I was going to touch on this because we had talked about having the conversation about, is it possible to live the good life, right? Smoking weed, drinking alcohol. Like, is that a part of it? Like, or is that escapism? Is that like, I need to release, so I'm going to go get drunk, or I'm going to go smoke, right? Like, is that it? Or is that something that takes away from it? Like, again, whatever it is that you're doing, it's about designing the life that you're like, man, I love it here. This is it. This is what I do. And I think, tying it all in, you need purpose. You need to enjoy your work. You need to enjoy your rest and relaxation. You need to enjoy all those things. But I think we really have to dive in, because it's a fine line to say, are you escaping, or is this just something that's built in and you have life? You have life where you want it,
Yep.
Man, you hit so many things on the head right there. And I think for me to be that in tune with myself, so that, because truly at the end of the day, we're the only ones that can make that call. Right. You always hear when somebody's coming up and they're cooking up an excuse, or cooking up an escape, or cooking up something. Well, I had two salads. That was 2 salads yesterday. I'm good. I don't need. I'm good. Right? And we all do it, but I think aligning yourself with what is going to, at the end of the day, where you can look yourself in the mirror and you say, man, I'm proud of me. Oh man, I did this. I really put forth what I wanted to put forth. On your deathbed, on your what, you say to yourself, man, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I didn't put in an extra hour or two in the office. I went out and actually had a beer with the guys, right? Or I'm glad I did put in an hour or two so that I could then see my family live the type of life that they're living right now, you know. And if that's what lines up with you, then that's the way you should go, because at the end of the day, while you sitting there, there's certain positions you're going to be in where it's just you and you. It's just you.
What's up,
you.
Hannah? Well, shout out. Sorry.
What it do?
Hey.
Right. So for me, that's what a lot of this stuff comes down to. And you know, we've talked about business before, and this it being just an extension of yourself. So I think really zooming down and looking at the self level is always a good place to look for root causes, right? And when you can, the more of those root causes, just like, you know, trigger points and pressure points that you can release, the more you can fluidly move through life, and, you know, kind of dodge the things as they come and catch the things you need to catch and do all the things you need to do, and then even as it goes up and down.
Right.
That's what I'm grasping from this. That's what I'm giving. Let's leave it right there.
Drop some light. So what I really liked about what you said there is you basically summarized one of your phrases, be your own doctor, which I think is fantastic, because when we start off with that prompt, Chris, of like, you know, alcohol, weed, other substances, like at the end of the day, as Kobi said, only you can determine for yourself if you're using it for a proper, if you're using it for a purpose that aligns with who you're trying to be and what you're trying to do.
Sure.
So, you know, I think there are definitely times in my life where I did in the past use alcohol to escape. And now I think I still use it mainly just because it's around, or I don't know. I think it's just interesting. There's this quote that I always mess up, so I'm just going to paraphrase as best I can, where psychedelics are to be used as a microscope, and they are to be, but just like a biologist would walk away from his microscope, in order to actually apply it to the real world, you have to do the same. You cannot live your entire life in psychedelics. You cannot live your entire life fucked up, or else that's really tough to make anything other than instant gratification decisions. Now, there are some people that do that as celebrities, and, you know, kudos to them. But for me, that would not work. That would not be for me. But
are they really living the good life, right? Like, if you have to be in that mode, like, I don't think that works for anyone.
The question is, do they have to, or are they aware of the pros and cons of it, and they continue to choose so? I don't know. Maybe we'll get like ASAP Rocky or somebody on here, or actually
I think both are true. Both can be true.
Both can be true.
Yeah, absolutely. Where a choice is made, and well, I think to speak to what where a conscious decision is made that I am okay with this cost for this payoff, and I can sustain that in my life. Right? I have enough money, I guess. I have enough barrier between me and the consequences of the things that I'm doing that it can keep me going. So I'm okay with that. Or you fool yourself into like, I require that, I need that, or I can't do without, or I'm okay when you're really not. You know, I think both of those things can be true, maybe not for the same person at the same time. That wasn't my thought, but both exist within, you know, celebrities and whatnot, and normal folks. I mean, for that matter.
Sure.
I kind of have like a philosophical point on this as well. You know, somewhere down the line, someone decided that sugar was legal, but marijuana was not until here recently. And to me, I'm like, you're telling me that this thing that we consume that rots our teeth and is a known carcinogen, yeah, like you're telling me that all of that is okay, but I can't do something else. I can't choose to smoke a different substance than one that doesn't have chemicals put in it to make me addicted to it. Like, what?
That's it, bro. Like we really must be connected here on The Good Life, because literally earlier today, I was about to tweet, sugar is a drug. That's it.
Oh, straight up.
I just want people to understand that, because it absolutely is. Absolutely. I felt it. I felt the effects. I've literally
recovering sugar addict.
For real, like, because it's happened, right? Like, ever since, right, being linked with Kobi and really going down the health journey, I've really cut out a lot. I can't say 100%, but probably 90%, 95%. I've gone, which has been big for me, a week or so ish without like having like processed sugar, like a cookie or something like that. And the moment that I try that sugar again, I'm like, I need it. Like, literally the next, like, after I had one cookie, I literally remember this probably 2 weeks ago. I went to the grocery store with my daughter. She wanted a cookie. I had some of the cookie because she wanted a cookie. I was like, fine. Ate the cookie. That was the first time I had sugar, and like refined sugar like that, processed sugar, in a week or two. And literally the next day I was like, man, I need some cookies around here. Man, I'm hungry. Like, I literally just wanted sugar. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I was so okay when I was off of it. And then as soon as I got right back on, so sugar is definitely a drug. It's definitely a drug. And just so you know, Tammy agrees with us. She said, sugar is a drug. It's one molecule off from cocaine. That is big. So back to the point that Stu, you made, right? Like, when did we decide that this is okay and marijuana's not, right? It's big. Thank you for that, Tammy.
Each person should be allowed to decide for themselves. I really do. But they have to be, I do believe in age requirements, because there is a point where you can, if you're at a certain age while younger, I think the male brain doesn't really fully finish developing until around 25. In my opinion, it probably never, if you are active and trying to, it probably never fully develops. You can keep that going. There's no up and then it stops. But I don't think, you feel me? I don't think that something like marijuana should be accessible to individuals under about 25. I would say the same thing for alcohol. It's a lot easier for me to say that having already passed 25. Though.
Right. Hey, my brother.
Right. I know.
You just lost the entire, what is it, Generation Z or whatnot?
That's okay. Like, by the time this voice gets anywhere near the political platform, then you guys will be past 25 as well. We'll worry about the next generation. But I say all that because, like, we talked about sugar. I think caffeine is also highly underrated as to how bad it is for you. So many people have sleep issues, but they're drinking a stimulant all day. Like, come on guys, like, please. So yeah, that one always, be your own doctor. I could go on about this forever.
And then push it back and then try to fight it with a depressant.
Yeah.
We just keep climbing this tree. You guys ever seen, like, how they climb trees with bare feet and the rope, and it's just like shimmy on up? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like what we're doing, right? Depressant stimulant, and we just hijack our whole nervous system all the way up, and we're just like, but why am I not functioning, right? And same thing with food. We do the same thing with food, and you discover that when you go and give your body a break, to just like pause with the rat race, the machinery that's continuously pushing you forward, the marketing that's telling you need this, the actual addictive substances themselves that they've coated all this stuff in that actually taste good, and then all of the people around you too that are telling you, oh, it's okay, everybody does it, and then all like the different, maybe even the different place that you live where every 5 feet you see something that's selling that drug, right? So when we get away from that stuff, it gives your body that opportunity to de-escalate the situation and be like, oh, okay, got it. We don't need to go into this hyper intensive state of dealing with it all the time. We can actually breathe and take a break from that stuff. What kind of break do you advocate? Curious. My goodness, I did not pay her. I did not plant. Is it Tammy?
Tammy.
I can't quite see it. They're not playing Tammy here, but Tammy, I advocate a solid food vacation juice feast, and I'm very glad you asked. I think it is one of the most efficient, effective ways to do this in the new age. Before the quote unquote new age, where we're going at 1,000 miles an hour, it would have been with just a water fast, right? But I actually think a solid food vacation juice feast is far superior to most other forms of fasting for the purpose of dealing with disease, and not just with disease, but energy at the end of the day, everything we just talked about. So, and there is a way to do that well, whether you're doing it for a short period of time, like 36 hours, or whether you're doing it for a longer period of time, like 30 to 60 days, to actually flush your system of toxins and allow it to rebuild and reculture. Change the culture, literally change the culture of your gut biome.
That's big, and it works, Tammy. I'll tell you, right? Like, it's hard, it's tough, but it's a mindset thing, right? And you really can. What it does is it shows you how attached you are to these things, to these substances, to the sugars, to the things to the coffees, all that stuff. I've gotten so much pushback when I've tried to tell people like not to drink coffee, or like encourage them not to. Like, it's so much pushback. Like, I can't let go.
Why do you think that is?
Can't let go of my coffee.
There's a culture around it.
That's very true. Yeah. We're living in the culture around it, right? Like, and again, people will point to other cultures, not even the American culture of, right, Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and let me get my coffee in the morning because, right, Folgers marketing that they got us back in the day, right? Not even that's like, even like other cultures that, like, you know, a lot of Spanish cultures, right? Just cafe con leche. You're down there in Florida, right? Like,
oh yeah, cafecito.
Yeah, right. Like, it's a culture. It's a culture, right? Like, I remember when I lived in Florida and I worked down there, like, I had to make them every morning for my staff. Like, it's not right. You walk around with the little, there you go, and everybody, like, it's just what you did. So, yeah, could be, you probably have a bunch more kind of in depth on that, but like, definitely I follow that it's the culture. That's why.
Yeah. I think it's, you first and foremost have to look at the culture. Like, where is everybody going and running and sprinting to in the masses? I'm not saying don't go. I'm just saying read the fine print before you go. Okay. If everybody's sprinting that way, read the fine print before you go. Not in like I feel like I have to qualify this a little bit. Not in a dangerous situation. Maybe you look once, twice. If something crazy happening there, maybe you leave. Right? Not that. I'm talking culturally in terms of the decisions that you're making in your lifestyle. Right? Let's look at what people are doing in the morning as they go up to get their morning drink, right? Get their morning drink, lined up and bunched up. They get their morning drink, cramp up on the highway in traffic to get to, well, not so much now, but still now. Maybe now they go downstairs and they go to their computer in the cubicle and do their thing.
Traffic's back down here.
And what do we talk about? All we talk about is like how we've been detached from nature, and that's a result of us getting sick and chasing up this. Like, if we just reverse, we see the herd going this way. If we just reverse that in pretty much most aspect of life, you get something better. I want to be bold enough to say better, right? And I think it follows, you can literally just do that and not know much about anything and just look at patterns. I think you can just look at trends and patterns and make different decisions. And I think you do pretty well in health and in life and in wealth in general.
Definitely. I want to toss one bomb out there about caffeine.
Uh-oh.
When everyone that I can recall and observe growing up, the more they disliked their lifestyle and their job, the more coffee they drank. They felt that they had to force energy into their body in order to perform their daily tasks. The more they enjoyed being there, the more they enjoyed their lifestyle, the less dependent they were on coffee. So if coffee is something that you are addicted to for anything, like if you want to go have a cup of coffee because that's the kind of like buzz that you like, and you're just sitting on the street having a good time, cool. Like Kobi said, as long as if you're paying attention to the fine print, you're paying attention to how that affects you in throughout your day and throughout your week, okay. But if you are literally consuming coffee to drag yourself to a place of work, maybe the place of work is your problem, and maybe coffee is just helping you try and swallow that really tough pill. So I'll just toss that out there and let the world kind of think about that one.
And honestly, I think that's a good place to kind of wrap up, guys. We went to this place of started with fun. Where does that fit in? And really diving into some of the things that maybe, what's the word I'm looking for? Inhibit us to like actually get to
hippity hop. No, I'm just playing.
Hippity hop, whatever that word is. The things that stop us from being able to do those things. So, man, again, we always want to have thoughtful conversations around these topics: health, wealth, love, happiness, the things that are getting you to the good life, because you all deserve it. We all deserve it, again, to design a life that you do not need to escape from. All right. And that's it. So we appreciate all you guys. Instagram family, continue to follow us and jump in every single Wednesday. We're coming in for our pregame at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We're jumping in, and then we're going live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube at 8 p.m. right after, to really have these conversations about the good life, guys. So, hey, we made it to 20 episodes. I'm proud of it.
We laugh.
I think we did an amazing job. Hopefully for everyone that's listening out there, that you guys continue to listen, continue to get value from it. We want to be able to point you in the right direction, give you the resources that you need, and some of the conversations to really shift your thinking, to point you towards that good life, guys. So till next week, next Wednesday, check us out. Keep living the good life. All right. Take care, guys.